Okay, so now we want to look at this procedure that we call the best responses procedure. And so the idea is for any play that one of the players might make, what's the best response by the other player? Okay, so we'll start with player one. So if player two were to play C1, then player one's best response is going to be whatever strategy gives him or her the highest valued outcome. So we have -1, -2, -6, and -3. So the best of those is going to be that -1. And so the best response if player two does C1 is for player one to play R1. Okay, if player two does C2, then player one's best response is going to be to get that -1. So the best response will be R2. If player two does C3, then player one's best response is going to be R2 to get that -3. And if player two does C4, then player one's best response is going to be R4 to get that -2. Okay, now we want to do the same thing for player two. So if player one selects strategy R1, then player two's best response is going to be C3 to get that payoff of 8. If player one does R2, then player two's best response is either C3 or C4 to get the 3. If player one does R3, then player two's best response is going to be C4 to get that 11. And if player one does R4, then player two's best response is going to be C3 to get that 4. Okay, so the solution to the game is going to be the strategy pair that corresponds to any outcome where we circled both of the values. So that's going to be there. Okay, the solution and the Nash equilibrium is the pair of strategies that is a best response for both players. Or, in other words, the pair of strategies that goes with the outcome that has both payoffs circled. Okay, here's one more example. So for player one, if C1 is going to happen, then the best response will be R1 to get that 6. If C2 is going to happen, then the best response is R2 to get that 8. If C3 is going to happen, then the best response is R3 to get that 0. And if C4 is going to happen, the best response is R4 to get that 7. Okay, now for player 2, if R1 is going to happen, the best response is going to be C2. If R2 is going to happen, the best response will be C1 to get that 8. If R3 is going to happen, the best response will be C3 to get that 0. And if R4 is going to happen, the best response will be C3 again to get that 6. Okay, and so we just have the one pair of payoffs that are circled for both players. So that means the solution is R3, C3. Okay, there we are.